My name is Cynthia Douglas, and I'd love to thank each and every one of you for coming out today for this joint press conference between Don Horton and Lee Jenkins. We know how important this upcoming election is going to be, and we are very excited about this election, and we wanted to make sure that we were able to give Don Horton the opportunity to talk about his endorsement for the upcoming mayoral as well as the city council race. So without any further ado, please help me welcome Mr. Don Horton.
Thank you. I don't think it can be overstated that this is a very important election. We know that runoff elections generally don't get the turnout that regular elections do, and to be perfectly honest, with only 13,000 voters coming out for the regular election, it's a small percentage of our total population. We have 46 or 47,000 registered voters, and out of that, we only got 13,000 people to come out. So we know it's going to be important for turnout on this upcoming runoff. I've been asked by hundreds of my supporters to please give them some direction for this upcoming runoff election, because they were very ardent supporters of mine, and they wanted to have my direct opinion. So there were a number of criteria that I used for deciding who I would endorse for the council election, and I met with most of them. Some I was unable to get something scheduled with in time for me to make my announcement. So I viewed their web pages, I viewed their Facebook posts, various other social media posts, to try to get an idea of where I thought they fit in terms of what I was looking for. In terms of the specific criteria, I really wanted some people who were going to align with my vision for the city, that would align with some of the initiatives that I started while I was on council, and that would take a look at my platform during this campaign and push forward some of those same ideas. And as I interviewed everybody, at first I found that nobody that I met with was interested in seeing high-density development. Absolutely no one. Everybody wants to see the character of Roswell remain the same. There wasn't one person that I talked to that wanted something other. And I think that's important for everybody to know. Because of my conversations, lengthy conversations with each potential council member, I decided to endorse Matt Judy and Sean Grover, because those are two individuals that share a lot of my platform, and they also were interested in some of the things that I was pushing for while I was on council. For mayor, it's a different story. Obviously, I wouldn't have run for council if I didn't think I was the best candidate, but that being the case, I also wanted somebody that had some proven leadership, because you can talk about leadership and you can say, well, I'm a leader, but the reality is talk is cheap, talk is easy. Demonstrated leadership, on the other hand, is something that's hard to come by. When I look at leadership, when I evaluate leadership, I'm looking for somebody who stays involved, gets involved, and stays involved. I want somebody who is a positive role model. I want somebody who understands their own weaknesses and then finds people and resources to help fill the gaps so that a more positive and stronger leadership role does come through. Leadership is also about building relationships. Relationships are important if you're going to get anything done. You can't isolate yourself and try to do everything yourself or with a small number of people. You have to build relationships, and in the case of a mayor, relationships around the city. That would include other cities, that would include state and local officials, Fulton County officials, even getting involved with the North Fulton Chamber of Commerce, and getting involved, of course, with our nonprofits. So involvement is absolutely key, and relationships are absolutely key to success in any kind of an endeavor, whether it be political, running a city, running a company, or otherwise. I also believe that leadership, good leadership, is inspirational. Good leadership tries to help others achieve at levels that they might not be able to achieve on their own. That's what good leadership is. And then, more than anything, leadership is not being served, but serving others. That is key for me. I feel that Lee Jenkins has demonstrated that kind of leadership. In terms of being involved, obviously, starting a church is not an easy task, and growing a church is even more difficult, and he has been able to do that. He's also been part of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, a very large organization where he's been the director for a number of years, and demonstrated leadership in that regard. So for me, it's easy to endorse Lee Jenkins because I believe he embodies the kind of leadership that this city needs at this time. Somebody who can bring various organizations, various forces together in a more compromised, collegial approach. And so with that, I want to invite Lee Jenkins up and let him tell you a little bit about himself, and I think we'll emphasize why I'm supporting him in this upcoming runoff. And I'll have another comment or two after he's finished.
I am humbled and honored to have the support of Don Horton. Don is a man who has served the city with distinction, not only as a longtime resident of Roswell, but as a very dedicated city councilman. Don Horton and I share the same passion, share the same values, and we share the same vision for the city of Roswell. Here's what we want. We want to unify this city. We want to keep taxes low. We want to preserve our historic district and the historic assets. We want to try to alleviate some of the traffic congestion by using smart technology. We want to redevelop old shopping centers. We want to rebalance our commercial and residential tax rate. We want to continue to strengthen our world-class recreation and parks department. We also want to continue with the acquisition of the 7 Branches property. There are many other things that Don Horton and I have in common. But the most important thing is our love for Roswell and for the people of Roswell. We don't believe in divisive, mean-spirited politics, the kind of politics that have been so prevalent in our city for years. We want to bring our city together so we can move forward. So we can preserve the character and charm of Roswell, which is what most people want. We moved to Roswell so it could be Roswell. But we also can move forward. We can have preservation and we can have progress at the same time. And that's what I want to do for the city of Roswell. I want to thank Don Horton for his endorsement. He is a man of integrity. He is a man who cares deeply for the city. He is a man that cares deeply for people. And he is a servant. And that is what we are supposed to be, those of us who run for office. We're supposed to be a public servant. Our job is to serve the citizens of Roswell, but our job is to be a servant, not a dictator, but to listen and to serve the people of Roswell. And that's what I want to do. I believe Roswell is ready to be the best city that we can be. In order to be the best city that we can be, we need new leadership. We need transformative leadership. We need fresh leadership. That is something that I bring. Because of my business background, because of my ministry background, because of my sports background, but most of all, because I love this city and I love the people of this city. I know that I have the skill set to move this city forward. And I'm so honored to have the support of Don Horton. Don Horton's voice will be heard in this city if I am elected mayor. One of the things about me is I am a collaborator. I'm a listener. I know how to bring great minds and great people together to accomplish great things. And Don Horton will certainly be one of the people at the table when we are making major decisions for the city. So I just want to say thank you very much for coming out. Thank you, Don, for your endorsement. I want you to know I don't take that lightly. And I will certainly, if elected to this city, I will certainly serve this city with honor and with integrity and with a lot of hard work. Thank you very much.
Once again, I just want to say that this is an extremely important election. We know that there are 5,000 voters that are going to come out no matter what. But there are also another 7,350 voters that we have to encourage to get out to make sure that this election goes the way we want it to go. 7,350 voters. That means I need all of you to work with your friends, talk with your friends, neighbors, and explain why this is important and why these candidates that I've endorsed are important. And there are 3,750 voters who supported me. And I want to encourage them not to be discouraged, but encourage them to get out and vote and make a difference in this election. Thank you very much.